Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 297 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one League of Legends solo queue educational and motivational podcast. Charlie, Curtis, today is another great day on the Rift. What a sun.
The sun's shining in the bot river.
Sun's shining. It's quite a...
My Rek'Sai's coming to gank.
I'm just feeling really good about League of Legends.
Strong side
Not
is.
weak side.
Perfect recalls.
Witness queue.
Bush control. That's what I immediately when I think of when I think of a good day on the
A
Rift.
good day on the Rift.
I'm pushed up in my lane. My jungler's on the way. I'm stacking a wave. I'm getting ready to dive, you know?
A good down the Rift for me is having very clear win conditions.
I thought you were going to say close clicks to the character.
Yeah. Like, tilt the keyboard.
No, that's
clicking close to my character.
That's when I'm starting to feel good. But on the
Close
Rift,
clicks.
Yeah,
if I think
close
about
clicks.
a sunshine and rainbows,
clicking very close to my character.
but that does feel good. I just want to play League of Legends now.
Yeah, we'll finish the podcast, then we
All
can
right,
go play.
we're going to talk about League, not play League right now. So there was a video that got sent to us, and it was done by Liquid, and it was titled "One Rioter versus 20 Redditors or League fans." Now, it's a really funny video. It's basically Riot Froxon, real friend of the show, where he kind of gets ganked by 20 gamers, League gamers, and they kind of debate topics. And I've just picked 3 parts of this video that I found interesting, and I kind of want to riff on some of these aspects. And we're going to just go one by one. All right, so I'm going to play out this first one here. This was in reference to the topic was Mel is a balanced champion. Okay?
What makes League of Legends fun to play in the long term? And typically when humans kind of interact with things that are difficult or hard to play against, their initial reaction is not, oh, this was really hard to play against, I give up. It's, oh, this was really hard to play against and I need to find a way to get around it, or I need to find a way to overcome it. Like if my sibling beats me in a game, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, sorry, like you won. You know, I give up, right? I'm going to try and find a way. Oh, I really want to beat that person. And that's kind of one of the secret sources of League of Legends. And so to the question of whether there should be things that make it very difficult to play against a certain champion, you know, something that you would consider, you know, Silas picking into Malphite, for example, you know, a Malphite player might consider that as a really tough matchup to play against, and I agree, right? But we should have those things in the game because it's valuable for players to play against things that are quite difficult to play against and form a plan to be able to find how they're going to play against it next time, right? Like assassins fall into this camp, really hard counters fall into this camp. Now we can...
Okay, so I just wanted to get that sequence there. Boom. First of all, what comes to mind? We're not talking about Mel here. We're just talking about this principle, this concept of you're faced with a challenge. How do you respond to a challenge in League of Legends? There's this difficult thing in front of you, whether it could be a champion interaction, it could be a specific moment in the game where you don't necessarily know what to do. I just want to kind of explore this idea for a moment.
I'm surprised that he said that that's like base human reaction is to have somewhat of a growth mindset around being faced with troubles. I would have thought the default response would be confusion and frustration and just lashing out kind of thing when people are met with frustration.
Yeah, not even just a video game thing,
No.
because this might be saying just for video games, but I think just in general, right?
Yeah, 100%. Things are frustrating. It's frustrating to lose. And like, I think, yeah, that if you, there is a difference. I don't know what this quality would be between like losing at something and then immediately wanting revenge and then losing at something and being like, well, that was a shit experience. Like that does exist. That latter does exist for sure. Like, I mean, I could bring it back to some other examples. Like I was explaining on the podcast maybe a few months ago, I was playing some other games, like some boss-based games. And some of the boss mechanics are just so bloody annoying that I did not want to complete those bosses. It did not motivate me to finish them based on how hard they were. I was just like, well, this is shit. This game, and even sometimes when I solved a puzzle in a game, it's like single player games, the solve to that puzzle was so complex, and I thought I'm never going to get that. That was so unsatisfying even once I did solve it, that it put me off wanting to solve stuff in the future. Whereas I think League of Legends, generally speaking, maybe Mel's an exception, does a really good job at providing you with those Goldilocks level puzzles where it's like, it's hard, but it's doable and it's satisfying. But I don't actually think that's inherent to a puzzle in general. I think that's a testament to the quality of that puzzle.
So that's a testament to the quality of the game design, right?
The
So
game design,
it's-
the champion,
so
the
you
interaction.
Kind of, I guess, summarizing what you're saying is when a challenge is so difficult, it kind of gets to a point where you just kind of give up. I don't really want to even tackle this, but there is an amount of difficulty that you feel as though is kind of surmountable.
I think so. Maybe difficulty is a part of it for sure. It does need to be surmountable but difficult, like the Goldilocks level of difficulty, but also like there's a level of satisfaction with completing it. And I don't know if that's always tied to difficulty or not. It's like the solve of the puzzle has to make sense.
Because I do think that is the thing. Sorry to interrupt you, Nathan. I do think that is the thing with Mel specifically, and there are many champions like that. I think a lot of people find, for example, like Yasuo, like what is the counterplay? What do I do here? And Mel W, I would say, famously in the League community, probably for a lot of people, that counterplay isn't abundantly obvious. There is counterplay, and we could get into that, and many people talk about that, but it's not overly intuitive. And I feel as though I would tend to agree. I actually think where I want to take this is, why do some people look at a challenge and they're like, bring it on, let's go, let's try and figure this shit out. Whereas other people, they see a challenge like this and it's like, you know what, I just don't even want to try.
So is it Mel W?
Yeah, Mel
W. Because I think it's a really good point, Charles. I didn't really think about that. There's like a tightrope level, because I think of like a Malphite R, like it was an 80 carry, and thinking about counterplay there, because it's not really up to you to counter the Malphite. It's up to your top laner to sort of punish that in the earlier stages of the game.
Kind of.
So there's like level of challenges completely out of your control. So like, talking about your point about, attack it with the growth might. How could you even start when you're literally the Malphite comes out of lane?
That's a really good example. So I can talk in depth about the Malphite ult as an example, because
I guess everyone talks about it in the Bot Lane Academy, right?
So this is something where it's like a very unsatisfying solve to the puzzle. It's similar to playing against a Twitch or Rengar and Evelynn. The solve to the puzzle is just get the fuck off that guy's screen. That is unfortunately the solve of the puzzle. It's like,
so stand so far back.
If I'm team fighting against the Malphite and I don't have flash, I can learn one or two things. I can learn to use my flash better in that game and time my summoner spells around the key neutral objectives. That's the highest level, what you're meant to do. Only fight with flash, right? And if you have to fight without your flash for whatever reason, then you need to literally not hit, or be in such a position that if Malphite does ult you, you're fine anyway. But that's such a nuanced, kind of unsatisfying way for a lot of, especially less experienced players, to solve that puzzle. It's very unsatisfying and boring, which is what I was trying to get at before.
Yeah,
it's a good example.
Which is what Froxon's sort of saying, where there's a feel of overcoming that challenge that feels so good. So, because I'm thinking about what you explained there, if you, like, because I see Malphites on my team that get outplayed by the 80 carry, or like for me as a Rek'Sai as well, I've eat in and tried to kill an 80 carry and sort of one-shot them, and then I get flashed, and I literally, the game's over. Yeah. The fight's over. But that 80 carry would be stoked. Like, that's like, you just won the game.
Yeah, well, it's very satisfying flashing a Malphite ulti. Yeah. But is it satisfying to the average person saying no to a fight because they have no flash and Malphite has ulti? I think for most people, no. But we can probably see the beauty in that. And like, I can play some team fights where I do less damage but survive and it feels great. But I can understand how a less experienced player would feel bad.
Well, this is what I think League of Legends kind of teaches a player at a more person level, which is like, okay, like, League's not a game where there's a problem and then, there's like a clear black and white solution. Oftentimes there are just varying degrees of types of solutions. Yep. And you could use these different solutions in different contexts, right? And so over time, when you start to play a lot of League of Legends, you have to start to realize, okay, like you said there with the Malphite example, okay, well, sometimes it actually might be better for me to go in there and get Malphite ultied. Yeah. To then waste that guy's ultimate, and then my team's going to clean up, right? As long as that guy overextends. Or sometimes, I literally just need to not fight. Say no. I literally need to give a full neutral objective because we can't win that fight right now with my current condition, right? Yep. So there is an element there of like you have to think very cerebrally in that sense. You're thinking about the bigger picture and considering other people, like your top laner, like Nathan, you were saying before. Sometimes it's not your job to deal with that particular problem. It's to buy time and maybe later on you can deal with it. And for now, it's your jungler's problem or your mid laner's problem or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I think that League does a really good job of kind of facilitating that like 4D chess mentality where it's like, sometimes I do have to think outside the box here to tackle this challenge. Yeah. But I would say for me, when I heard this, I was actually thinking more about less away from the ability specifics, but more so like macro game. And I actually think this mindset is what is I am obsessed with this topic. And I keep bringing it up, the whole master tier thing, right? Like master tier players who struggle to get to Grandmaster and to Challenger, right? And like, I want to use an example from one of my recent solo games today, right? I was auto field support and I love playing Bard. I've got a history on playing Bard because it really allows me to think about the game cerebrally, right? And I was saying this before over lunch where like I was very frustrated in this game because the way I wanted to win the game, it didn't pan out the way I wanted. So I had this plan in my mind, we're going to play and win the game this way, and it didn't pan out that way. And so I was very, very frustrated. And in that moment, right, I was in the pits. I was in a shit mindset. I'm like, all right, meant subconsciously just get me out of this game. I was not locked in. I was not checked in. And I was faced with a problem that I wasn't really solving. And then when I switched my mindset, I'm like, okay, what do I actually have to work with here? Like, what tools do I have to, like, how can, there's this insurmountable puzzle in front of my face right now. I've got, these guys are behind, these guys are kind of doing okay. We don't win team fights. I got to do something. How do I win this game? I was able to then figure something out, pull something out of out of my hat like a magician, leverage Bard's strengths and some other champions on my team's strengths and win this game.
That's so fun, by the way. That's
But
league
why?
at its pinnacle.
And that is what it takes as at the highest level, like Master Plus, to be able to, it's the learning you get through that experience. You're like, I've got this challenge. I don't know how to win, but I'm going to try shit. I'm going to just throw enough shit at the wall. And eventually, if you're creative, you'll find something. So that trait, that person, that choice mentally to be like, I'm faced with this insurmountable challenge. It's very, very difficult. I don't know the counterplay right now, but I'm going to have a crack. Is, I think, what kind of separates, is the filter for the Grandmaster Challenger players. Do you see what I mean? And that mindset, it's kind of intangible. It's very difficult to get that mindset across to people because it requires humility. It requires, like, what do you think it requires? How do you get to that point?
Yeah, my mind initially, even before you actually said the thing about this being prevalent in Master Tier, was that that's just a luxury that people who can have a freed up mental stack have. Yeah, I just don't think that mentality should or could exist in below Diamond, high Diamond. So I think that's probably why people get more frustrated in the lower ranks with certain stuff like abilities or even macro decisions. Like that people, we know the classic, they can't deal with split pushes. Why? Because their mental stack is so full. They can't even remotely think about it. And even if they could, they have to have intimate champ knowledge of so many other things and a lot of stuff has to come into play, right? So it's a mindset, but I also think it's just a straight up knowledge gap.
But what happens with the Master Tier players that do have the mental stack? Why do some people have the mental resilience to do that and other people don't?
Yeah, I wasn't addressing that part. I have no idea why the Master Tier players can't do it. Ego.
That's
like
a big one,
Defense
honestly.
mechanisms, like just basically blaming externals, not
They don't get into the details.
not reviewing, all that stuff.
Because
I do know it's just not reviewing.
Yeah.
Well, it's just simply not.
And the
reviewing.
reason I want to bring that up, because now circling back to Mel, I do think there is an element, like deep down, even with the lower level players, of kind of like a little bit of ego or a little bit of like lack of flexibility or a lack of being like, you got to be vulnerable. Like it always starts with admitting that you don't know the answer. But until you actually start with that, like, I don't know. I'm versed with a Mel. I don't know what to do. I don't know the counterplay. And you have to believe that there is some sort of counterplay. It can't be, I don't know what the counterplay is and there isn't any counterplay. You see what I mean?
Not how gamers think. Gamers
No,
don't
it's not how
think
gamers
like
think.
this.
No, I think gamers even think that the company that's making the game, like, right, like they're.
But that's not what Froxon said.
No.
Froxon said, if you think about it, well, gamers, you're a kid. Like, I agree with his statement though. When you're a kid and you're a sibling, you're playing, Need for Speed Most Wanted, and your brother keeps kicking your ass.
Yeah.
You don't know how to beat him, but there's a way, and that's why you keep trying. You don't just give up and throw the controller down after the first attempt.
A lot of people do throw down the controller. If I'm playing MW2 and I get noob tubed on Favela across the map, I don't think to myself, let me problem solve how to not get noob tubed. I like throw my controller, or I go leave the lobby and try and find another game.
Interesting.
Or I get frustrated. Right?
Sorry to disagree, but
I'm on Charles' side.
I don't agree with that. I would say most people are frustrated and they try again. If everyone got noob tubed once and then they quit the game, no one would have played Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, maybe the initial response could be different, but there's a lot of resentment on the feeling of like games are like, people believe generally, I think, that games have a bullshit element to them.
Yeah,
that there are
correct.
bullshit things in the
Yeah.
game where it's like, that was just fucking bullshit. Like, come on. Like, what is that?
People don't think
I feel like
that
that's literally
game-
the average view
Yeah.
of the, even in League of Legends, people think certain champs are bullshit.
And bullshit means there's no counterplay. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, no counterplay, but yeah, they'll never enter that mindset to try and
it's
solve it.
unbalanced. They don't even think of the word in the terms of
Right.
counterplay. They think it's like unbalanced, it's unfair, it's too overpowered. That's the kind of terminology that
It's like the victim mentality. It is a victim mentality.
Yeah, so we probably don't interact with much of that in our academies.
Yeah.
I see it here and there for sure. But the most people have a pretty growth mindset around things. But when I think of the average gamer and me growing up playing games myself, it's just a lot of frustration.
That was how you connected with people. You'd
gamer
say-
rage. You know, think about friend of the show Nice. Like, so much gamer rage. Fucking Hecarim's OP. What is that? You know, like
and even that terminology noob tube, that's like people love that became a thing, right?
course,
it's,
yes.
it's like an attack, literally noob tubes, you know?
noob tubes.
Think about that.
Think about what a noob tube means. It's a grenade launcher attachment for a weapon, and you get noob tubes. You're a noob for using the noob tube.
right. Yeah, I don't know.
It's gamer culture.
Yeah.
I just find that really fascinating just from a psychological perspective that
Yeah.
it's like something is so, it's just not obvious what the counterplay is. So you're calling it bullshit.
Yes.
And then you're using that as a way to, it's a coping mechanism to deal with the fact that you don't know what the counterplay is.
Of course.
But I think that like,
It's very comfortable.
yeah, it's a
And
fascinating.
it's part of the
it's
culture,
fascinating.
Curtis, because so many games, there's so many unbalanced games
Yeah,
out there,
true,
right?
true.
So you're coming from X game to League, like we think League's Riot's done a really good job with the balance, and we could like Mel sucks now, by the way. Like I lose every game with Mel at the moment.
terrible.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's not the culture. That's not the experience. When people are on the PC, they're not thinking about how to problem solve this thing. It's like, I'm playing this game. Games in general, all developers, everyone makes things that suck.
something bullshit there.
So this is what it is in this game, and that's it.
Fascinating. Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's part of the culture.
Yeah, agreed. I think like the example of like the sibling and the rivalry, that's just a very naive view of competition. Most competition is online, not thinking about everyone in the game as humans. And it's more like me versus the interaction or me versus the champion rather than me versus my brother or sister.
What happens if Riot came out? I mean, obviously, Riot say that they let the community make the educational content, where the coaches and we. What happens if they literally made like, this is this bullshit mechanic?
Yeah.
This is exactly how you counter it.
Interesting.
Right? They
yeah.
literally made training material so they could just point to it. And then imagine the community saying, Riot literally told, like, if someone said this is bullshit, like, Riot literally explained all the flaws, all the weaknesses, all that sort of stuff, right? Which I guess is what our job is, what we do, right?
There's heaps of that online.
Yeah, there's heaps of it online. But imagine if it was just like literally, like let's say you finish a game of League of Legends and you say, did you have a good experience this game? Who was broken? And you click on this person who was broken, and that essentially says, well,
It
this
sends
is,
you a video.
Yeah, this is why it's not broken, you know?
Yeah, right.
It's
Wouldn't
how
that
to
be
play
interesting?
against
Because
Evelynn.
it's just an education piece, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I think some of the more requested content I get in Botland Academies is not like how do I play this champion, but how do I play against this
Yeah.
champion?
That's right,
People
yeah.
want that stuff.
Yeah, I just find it an interesting topic, though. We'll move on, but it's the final thoughts. It's like, it's always been fascinating to me why one ability, just like a Mel W,
Yeah.
it makes people so upset comparatively
Yeah.
to like another ability that is also very strong, but no one talks about.
Yeah, like an Ivia W.
Yeah, like
Oh my
Nivea-
god, I literally just thought of Nivea
Yeah.
War.
Did
That
you
was
think
the
of the
first
same
thing-
thing?
yeah,
I
because
just
that
thought,
was
what's the
every
most
game.
broken ability in the game?
Yeah,
Nivea
Nivea
W.
W.
Like you
Yeah.
think about something like that, right? And it's just like, it's just one ability causes this massive uproar, and another ability just flies under the radar.
I think it's like the noob tube in COD. I think it's the perfect example.
Yeah.
Noob tube just ruined the game.
All right.
Yeah, but like to go and just to wrap it up,
Yeah.
Charles' initial point, there is levels. There's a tightrope that game developers need to walk
Yeah.
of like, it's just generally just not fun. And even if I aim to figure out how to counter it, it's just not fun.
I also like not to spend 1 hour on the one little comment from Proxon, but I believe he said on an episode with us that he wants things to be OP.
Yeah.
And I think that's how games should be.
Or unbalanced. Yeah, you don't want to
A
balance
balanced game.
game.
Yeah, and that's fun. I'm all part of that.
I'm,
philosophy.
I agree.
I'm happy for that, yes. The game should be in flux. We want cycles of things being strong and weak and strong and weak. That's what makes the game fun and novel and exciting.
All right, moving on to the next one here. Still on the topic of it was under the veil of Mel, but a different angle here.
Don't think that she is unbalanced. I think she's a frustrating champion to play against. She had in February, I think her win rate went down to like 42%. Right now it's at 46 in Masters Plus, and I think it's like 48 Emerald Plus. So she's underwhelming right now. But I think that there are other problems in her kit that pose the problem. I think she's just a frustrating champion. League of Legends in the past year of 2025 did a really great job at listening to the community, and the community obviously was frustrated playing against her. And I think there are several other champions that are frustrating to play against that have gone unresolved. Tom Kench, Fizz invulnerability, like he can go invulnerable. What is it, like every 8 seconds at max rank?
Yep.
Mel's invulnerability is what, 25 max rank? Something like that. So I don't think it's she was overpowered. I think she's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, I got to hear the response here. We're not going to hear the response.
No, we're not going to hear the response.
So we have to come up with it ourselves.
No, that's the point that I wanted to highlight here. Is I've seen a trend in the league community where people talk, and this flows on from the previous one, that people talk about abilities in isolation.
Yeah.
And it really frustrates me because league is not
Fizz-E.
Fizz-E or this one thing. And when league is not a game that is balanced around abilities as like individual abilities. It's a game that's balanced around kits. Okay. And when people, let's say use the example of Fizz-E. It's a really, really great example because if you think about Fizz's kit in isolation, right, all the abilities are really good, right? The E's like a really, really, really good ability. But his full melee has no non-committal wave clear. His cooldowns are he's on a relatively high cooldown. He basically, I mean, he has no way to proc bone platings and things like that. If people build Zonyas, you navigate, you nullify their entire ultimate.
Yeah.
He has no CC. The list goes on, right? So if you think about the kit of Fizz holistically, it makes a lot of sense. If Fizz didn't have that ability, the champion would be literally one of the weakest champions in the entire game.
So obviously her point is that there's just abilities that are frustrating. Like Fizz might have, Fizz never wins games, but people just hate playing against the Fizz. So that's
No, Fizz
her
does.
point, but-
Fizz wins games though, like especially like below gold.
It's not about
Okay.
champion. I don't think it's about champion.
Okay, but yeah, like you're saying, well then you would just run out of game design techniques, wouldn't you? Like you wouldn't be able to keep up with the shit. It's just not possible.
Well, they're
but,
not thinking about-
that goes to the education piece.
Well, this is
Curtis.
where I don't think people's understanding of the game.
It's an education piece again.
Understand how champs work. It sounds so, I don't mean this in an elitist way, but just fundamentally, what is the point of this particular champion? Right, so I redid the TF guides at the moment. We've actually restructured the way we do guides in the academies nowadays. We actually have a introductory, intermediate, and expert guides. We actually have 3 guides for champions now moving forwards in the WTL academies. And in the process of doing so, I started the introductory guide with a section, basically, how does the kit work? Okay. And what I said, let's go ability, passive, every ability, and then we're going to tie it together. What is the point of the champ design? And so and I went through. I'm like, okay, TFQ has this wave clear. It's long range. It doesn't get blocked by minions or anything. You get massive gold injection on your passive. You get the attack speed on this, and it has on the E, which gives you a bit of an empowered auto that synergizes beautifully with your W. Your W gives you mana. I went through this whole thing, and the kit design together makes perfect sense. Every element of that kit makes it ultra clear what his strengths and weaknesses are. Sure. But if you were to look at any of those things in isolation, I don't fucking know, right? That anyone could have that Q, right? A lot of champions could have that Q. A lot of champions could have that E, but it wouldn't make sense in the grand scheme of the kit design. So before you criticize or before you even decide to make comments on a champion, you need to understand what does the champion want to do.
This is why champion identity and for learning the champion is so important for us at WTL. And how we teach the game. Our philosophy is we teach the champion first and game second, because exactly what you're saying there, Curtis, because you're frustrated with the community because they're not thinking holistically about the kits and the champions and, clear weaknesses. And
why do you think that is?
I'll tell you why that is, because when we coach an Emerald player, what are we talking about? They're not even executing on their own champion. They've played hundreds of games. They can't even execute on their own champion's identity consistently.
People generally just view the champions as a vessel to play that role. They don't really, people don't really try and play their champ.
That's
I
exactly
actually remember
right,
this story you said, Nathan, a while ago. You said, remember your coach, I can't remember the champion. You might remember halfway through this, but like it was a champ that you had no experience with. And then you played it for 10 games. In 10 games, you knew more about the champ than someone who played that game for 400 games. Like, how is that possible?
I can go further than that. I coached a Morgana, again, this might sound egotistical, but I coached a Morgana 80 carry and then a Veigar 80 carry in coaching sessions. These are players that play a lot of these champions. I've never touched either of those champions, but I was coaching them on the reference points of those champions.
That's right.
Just because I've versed them a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've just watched the game and seen them. And I know how does Morgana's kit work? What fundamentally does a champ do? well, it pushes waves with the W. It trades around cooldowns. It doesn't like fight with auto attacks. This guy's fighting with auto attacks.
But notice
Morgana.
how
Yeah.
our mind straight away goes to what does the champion try to do? That's step number one. But that is not.
That's not the default
That is
response.
not what the default response of the average League of Legends play is.
You're spot on, Charles. People view it as a vessel to play the game.
Yeah, they're just trying to play the game.
And play the role. It's like, this champion's a mid laner, so I'm going to play League of Legends, but you've got
I'm
to
gonna
be...
play mid lane.
You're not
Yeah.
playing mid lane, you're playing Fizz.
Yeah.
Well,
in
even a step
mid
further,
lane.
most people are just trying to get kills. If we're really talking, aren't we?
They lock in anyone that's trying to get kills.
Yeah.
So they how could we possibly expect people to not get frustrated by these kits when they, let alone the champions that they haven't played, the champions that they own play, they could maybe tell you the identity, but what is, even an Emerald player, Diamond player, and it's very clear, and that's what happens in my coaching sessions. I say, these are the references, it makes sense, why you're not playing this, and they agree. But they're so far gone with all the stuff that's going on in the game, that sort of stuff. They don't even focus about that. Or they win games without actually needing to. They can do like 50% of the play to their champion identity and their reference points like 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can get away with that and win games is why I guess people don't focus on it.
Like the one that's always surprised me, right, is you see people who play like Talia. And it's like, your ultimate does no damage.
it's
You do
not a
realize
combat
that. You have no damage. You're playing a champion with no ultimate here. You're rocking up to the fight. You have no damage here. So why are you going into this fight, slamming your head in, thinking you're going to win this? Just fundamentally, take your hand, just look at it objectively.
And they can. They do it. In the academies, they do. It's very clear, but they can't do it.
No, we're speaking like, I assume like talking to people like that stuff like the first or second time. I see people get results fast when they
Yes.
start implementing this
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. Yeah. Once
Like
you start
telling
implementing,
Twitch
yeah.
players to fight around your
Yeah.
ass sounds
Yeah.
bloody obvious, but you know, you
And
need a
I just
reminder.
think that the reason I wanted to raise this is because I think if anyone has a problem with a champion,
Yeah.
right, it could be a critique of like, there's no counterplay, I can't deal with it in lane, I always struggle with this. Just go into practice tool, read the abilities, and ask yourself, what does this champion do and why? What's its identity?
Yeah.
What are its strengths and weaknesses? And screw around. You might play Brawl, play a normal game, and it'll become very clear very quick, just intuitively. Like, what am I doing wrong against this champion?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're so passionate about the champ guides, right? We have champion guides for 121 champions out of like the 170 something. We're missing like 50 from some of the more niche ones, like
Heimerdinger.
Nylas, Heimerdingers, weird stuff like this, right? And yeah, there's champion guides like, I think, like you said, we're redoing them at the moment, but even the older versions, which still haven't been redone, they're still very like, here's what the abilities do, here are the reference points, here are some examples, very like, very simple to implement. And we see a lot of people get results even just through the guides.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to another one here. And this one was in relation to losers queue doesn't exist. You belong at your rank. Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan. This was actually this guy who just happened with this video. I didn't plan for this. He's actually a fan of the Broken by Concept podcast.
Don B. Shout out to Don B.
Shout out to Don B. I just found this funny, and we're just going to analyze this
Okay.
sequence, all right?
Keeping games interesting, right?
Yep.
And there are definitely ways that we could do that.
Yep.
We don't.
Okay.
But
It really, yeah, it just sometimes I've gone back and forth on this. I'm like a D2 peak kind of player.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've played like millions of hands of poker in my life, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm someone who's like very aware of like cosmic variance.
yeah.
And sometimes, man, it feels a little scripted. I think a lot of League players, and you can probably like, we've all hallucinated the same thing at times. Where do you think that comes from?
I think humans in general, not even just
Okay.
players of League of Legends,
Yeah.
have a tendency to make theories out of things.
Yep.
Humans are really, really good at pattern recognition. And so they might see something like, oh, I lost 5 games in a row, and it was always my top laner. You know what? I think Riot is making my top laners specifically bad. They're spending extra compute time to give me bad top laners so I lose.
Yep. Yep.
And that's something that people can believe, right? Like, so
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to raise this because I think the League community and all gaming communities are very, very, very good at this. And I think fundamentally, like in our human nature, we're not comfortable not creating a narrative. Like we need some sort of like character arc or narrative to follow to make sense of what is actually happening in our journey. But in reality, there is no narrative going on here. There is no story. You're not part of some like, big conspiracy. And we're so good. We're expert. Everyone is experts at it. whereby to the point where we have now these conspiracy theories about losers goo, and it's been debunked, to the ends of the earth. But it will
more stuff
always
will come
keep
in,
coming
yeah.
up
Yeah.
because people are absolutely convinced.
Well, because they're shaped by their own experiences. So people yapping about, the debunks. They don't care. It's about their own experiences and their own narratives and, stories, and as the patterns that they're identifying for themselves, as Froxon says. I love how Froxon keeps saying like humans.
Oh,
He's bringing it, stripping it back. So it's like, it's not about the league community anymore. We're talking about humans'
Froxon's
tendencies.
he's head sociologist,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But isn't it? I think he's right to say humans because I think that he's correct. Isn't one definition of humanity that we search for meaning? Isn't that just generally what people try and do? People like the meaning of what is the meaning of life? Like why do we travel around? Why do we explore? Why are we humans kind of inherently drawn to new experiences and like searching for answers? Isn't that just generally like human nature?
Yeah, we got to search for the answer of why my top laner feeds every game.
Well, yeah, we want explanations, and that drives us as a species. I think I think it's correct, and unfortunately, like that drives us mad sometimes as well. Searching for explanations. You see people. It's not just a League of Legends specific thing. Obviously, conspiracy theories are obviously prevalent in the real world too. People lose their bloody marbles about stuff like that. So.
And especially once we get to those ranks, Don B was saying he's Diamond 2 peaker. Like Diamond 2 and Master, that's just filled with, that's where the losers choose the prime.
Because you've got so many
Diamond.
reps by that point.
Yeah, so many reps. And also, there's just so many things you're missing, little things.
Yeah.
Well, it
and
can just look like you're
there's
playing
no new-
well.
Yeah,
as well.
that's right,
You can
yeah.
trick yourself very easily into thinking
Yeah.
you're doing all the right things,
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we look at a Diamond 2 player and we say, well, all's good, doing everything perfectly? Like people that win these Diamond players that win games are making very fundamental errors.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, yeah.
It's literally does not happen.
Yeah, that's what I love about League. Like you can be absolutely
you think
convinced
that you're really
that you know exactly what's going on
in
and
the
why you are
game.
the and
Yes.
you can be not even close.
at the outcome of the game. Yeah, the people have this. They come to a coaches and say, "This is what happened this game." I say, "Well, this is not even close.
It's not even
what happened
close.
this
Yeah, you're not
game."
even in the same ballpark
of why.
Yeah.
Let's say your AD carry started losing, or like
It's usually wrong.
yeah.
It's usually
It's
wrong.
usually wrong, unfortunately.
I-
That
I-
just goes to show how hard the game is. Like I
Yeah.
don't blame people for being wrong, and I also don't even blame people for like blaming externals. Like the game is so messy. It was a very comforting solution.
I just love the way he framed it, saying, "I'm someone that I believe is aware of cosmic variance." Like
Yeah.
he's coming from this perspective of like, I'm this ultra
Yeah.
logical human being who's
Yeah.
able to be, and they're still
Yeah, even those logical,
even the most
league.
logical people.
Like I
There's
watched
too many
every episode of
variables.
BBC, but
Yeah.
that being said,
And then
my
also,
top laner.
I mean, that's a great example. This is like, 'cause we're on the front lines. We coach people all day. I would love Don B to bring us a VOD of his gameplay, and then let's talk about what he thinks is a game of like complete cosmic variance.
Yeah.
And we could break down exactly why it's going on. And again, he might still lose that game even with all the advice that we give. But we will have a very clear picture of why that happened and why you lost that game. And, no one rocks around with 100% win rate, guys. The best players in the game climb with just above 50% win rate. So, but that's the thing that people just create those narratives from those 48% losses.
yeah.
And then they just go crazy.
I also I want to try to extend on this topic to talk about like there is actually a difference. I don't know, this could be a wacky topic between like playing like really good perfect League of Legends and just winning games. I was thinking about this yesterday, right? Because we played a game against each other, Curtis, where it was a really sloppy game, very weird draft on both
Piss banger.
sides, absolute piss banger. And as the game was going on, you started to have this feeling like Curtis's team is just going to win this game. And I was just thinking like Curtis just wins games. He just wins.
Yeah,
He
it's
just
all this hidden
wins
stuff.
solo queue
Yeah,
games.
correct.
A lot of things is going on, and it just drives me back. I remember got this mailbag question a while ago about some guy who was like, I learned how to like win messy games. So much of climbing, let alone like improving or getting better at the game, but if we're just taking it to brass tacks, killing fucking nexuses, you have to be able to win messy games.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of your biggest strengths, Curtis, is you can sit there in an absolute like swamp of a game and like peer through the fog and see the White
it's
House.
super clear to Curtis. Like he just knows there's no narratives. Curtis' mental stack's very free because that's where the confidence comes with being a long-term challenger player like
Yeah.
Curtis. but you know, long-term experienced player, because you've seen the patterns in this game and you sort of have a good idea to win it, instead of what most like a Diamond 2 player will be saying, all right, here comes a narrative there, here comes a narrative
But
there.
the game was talk about the game, because the game was like
We'll get into the specifics in a moment, but I think there are two layers to this, right? Like, I think in your case, Charlie, and I think this is very, very common in especially in the higher elo brackets, is that when you've been in so many negative experiences in mid game, you almost feel like subconsciously that it's an inevitability that you're going to lose the game, and in a way, like you're kind of manifesting that reality.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah,
and I think I feel that sometimes when I watch you play mid game, it's like you start making an error or two, and then you're like, oh, I've ruined this game, and then you're pissed off that you've ruined the game, and then you can't get yourself to actually just like
lock back in,
because you've had so many negative experiences, and I do think in league.
So you're saying Charles manifests in a way.
In a way,
But
subconsciously.
you view it as like a playground.
But many people are in that because in order to get to a high level in league, you have to lose a lot, and that's normal. That's part of the thing. You're going to have to be confused for a very long time, and you're going to have to piss fart around for a long time. But I think in a way, like there comes a point where it's like, okay, I have made many mistakes in the past, and I've ruined a trillion games. But now I understand why I made those mistakes. And I think there was a moment I remember in my league journey, which was like, it made sense why I was losing to better players. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing just these few things better than me. And then I was able to just hone in on those few things. And I think it does, and I don't really give a shit what happened in the past. You know, like I think you got to let go. And I think for you, Charles, especially, and a lot of people fall in this category, you got to give yourself permission to be like, I have through and messed up a lot of mid games, but you can't. You're manifesting that shit mid game in a way. And does that resonate? Do you feel like
for sure? I mean, I think it comes and goes as well. I think there's definitely just a big tie-in with intensity. Like if I am playing with intensity and I'm pure flow state, I just live in the moment.
Yeah.
I forget the past entirely. But if I'm not flow state and I do accidentally let the past kind of bleed into the game, then for sure, I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
I feel like you're like bound to lose that game because you've already told yourself that you're going to lose that game.
I've already lost it.
You've already lost it mentally. Exactly right.
Yeah, I do fall prey to that for sure.
And I think this is tying back to the whole, like a lot of high-level challenger players, and I'm going to say this across all servers and just working with some of the best pro players from OS, is that they come from there's two ways to become a really, really good league player, two personality traits, and they're completely opposite, but you can get to the same place. You can be completely delusional to the point where you don't give a fuck what anyone else says about you, and you're so egotistical that you've got the blinders on, and that allows you to like block out all the noise and just completely play flow state League of Legends because you genuinely have deluded yourself into thinking that the way you view the game is correct. Okay, so that's like option number one, and that's very common for a lot of old school pro players. Or number two is that you kind of transcend that, where it's like you were an egotistical bastard. That caught up to you in the end. You got humbled to fuck. And then you kind of went into the depths and emerged from the depths to kind of realize, okay, now I know how the game actually works. I was wrong. I was an idiot. And now where I am.
Yep.
And I think most talented young kids are in that first bracket. They're just pure, like, I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. And then a lot of long-term old school players, like I think, like Bjergsen was probably an old school player that I think had that, where he came out the other end. He's like, I probably played a game. Used to play the game in a way that was unsustainable. I was just a talented kid.
Yeah. Now
let's figure out how the game actually works. And he emerged from the other side being a pretty remarkable player. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that then there's the third archetype, which is where a lot of people get stuck, is like they are kind of stuck in the head. They realize how they can't trick themselves into thinking they're good. They know their shit deep down. In a way, I'm using shit relative to a challenger player, right? But they know they're not good enough, and they don't have the confidence to kind of admit that and try to problem solve the way out of it. Because again, I think there's something like that you got to be vulnerable, and I keep saying that, and I think a lot of people don't really know what I mean by that. But you got to just be like, I am shit. Just say that. I am not playing the game well. I'm not playing the game correctly, and that's okay. And I don't give a shit if someone says I'm shit, because I know too. I'm making bad decisions. And that unlocks this freedom of like, I don't have any burden of performance. I don't feel like I have to impress anybody.
And then you enter the curiosity.
Then you enter the curiosity phase. And I still think for you, Charles, and again, for like 90% of Master Plus players, it's like they feel so like upset when other people judge their mistakes. Like and I could be wrong here with you, but just this is the vibe I get when I watch other people play. I don't know if you feel like this, Nathan. Like they feel like they make a mistake and they think all eyes are on them. I'm a sack of shit, and they feel really insecure about the decisions they're making. And that's like, for example, I'm just gonna use a practical example. One of my recent games, the jungler, like I think he knew he messed up. The AD carry called him out, and then he like instantly into defending himself in the sense, like, and then literally was trying to justify in the game, like, you know, look, I'll actually say what happened. The bot lane said, the AD carry said, "Why did you not just keep playing bot side?" Right? The Dyna played to the wrong side of the map. The Dyna, instead of muting or whatever, said, "I killed top 3 times." And so that Dyna is now doubled down.
Yeah, double down
on the decision because they're too far. They care so much about being right. Sorry, about looking right instead of being right.
Yeah, because that could have been completely wrong win condition assessment, right?
Yes,
yeah.
exactly right.
You know, yeah. But that's great. That's a very common that I see in coaching sessions. I say, well, if you played towards something, this is how I learned win condition assessment. Is I had a hypothesis, I played towards something. Let's say I got it like really fair, but the game still felt so hard, or we couldn't win, and then I instantly think, okay, what happens if I did the complete opposite of that? Maybe, you know, that champion struggled in this certain team comp, even if I got them fed or ahead. And that's really important to learn the game. Yeah, that's exactly, because that's the curious mindset right there.
Yeah.
I'm instantly thinking about what happens if I did the opposite. And by the way, even me as a jungler, I know games where I played to something and I'm like, shit, like I spent too much time here. I didn't want to, but I know I've probably lost the game.
But you don't care that if someone blames you for losing that game. Like, it doesn't bother you whatsoever.
No, because it's very clear.
It's very clear. It's like, oh, that makes sense. They're right. If I would blame me too if I was in this. You know what I mean? That's the mindset.
That's why
that's super interesting.
For us, there's no cosmic variance. Like, the game makes perfect sense. I can explain every game perfectly, even in every challenger game, exactly why I win and lose games.
Yeah.
Nothing's confusing to me.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking to me that you would thought that I'm like letting other people's opinions of my mistakes get to me. I don't feel that at all when I play.
Right.
No,
isn't it just you in your own head, Charles?
Yeah, it's just me
it's
versus
just Charles.
me. I mean, I play no chat streamer mode. I just sit there and I play my games. I laugh at my mistakes. It's just I have to use your terminology from the last episode, just some trauma.
Yeah.
I think that you lack to some degree on the riff, right? Which is still, it's baggage. It's probably a better word that I'm like carrying around, and it doesn't stop me from making progress. Like, I still think I'm improving, and I'm obviously a bit newer to the role as well. I'm still improving week by week, but I just need reminders. That's how I like to do it for myself. Is like games like the one yesterday is just a reminder. It's like, shit, I'm still capable of that. If I slip, that is what I'm capable of doing.
I think you're capable of I think you've got all this untapped knowledge and like LP.
The me show.
No, seriously. Like, I think you have you have like,
You're motivating you, Charles.
I said this to you ages ago. I said you got like you got like this 800 LP like buffer just sitting there waiting for you to tap into it. It's like just on the other side of the wall that you got to break.
Yeah.
And that's it's like on you whether or not you're ready to reach that, you know? But yeah, I think you just gotta, I mean, it's easier said than done. I think a lot of people resonate with this mental baggage about past, about whatever, whether it's external or internal, there's something there that's not allowing them to tap into that.
Yeah. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it, eh? But
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. All I can speak from personal experience is that there's seasons where it's easy and there's seasons where it's hard. There's seasons where I do climb hundreds of LP and I peak really well. And then there's seasons where I'm a bit down in the dumps and it's a bit harder to make any progress and just go backwards. And I think that's what a lot of people deal with on the Rift as well.
Okay, well, moving on.
Yep.
We've got another spicy topic. And this one is titled, Are Unranked to Master Videos Making You Worse? Now, there's a bit of a clickbait here. We will answer the question.
We're exploring.
I want to explore this. This is going to be more of an exploration of this kind of high-level topic of, I guess, educational content. Is what type of educational content actually makes you better at the game? What is the purpose of educational content? And yeah, is something like, you know, I guess as controversial as Unranked to Masters actually be beneficial? So Nathan, I want to palm this to you. I know that you want to kind of start this conversation. So
Just quickly.
where's your head at?
Where's my head at for Unranked to Masters content?
Into the microphone, please.
I think it's fantastic. I love Unranked to Masters content. It's not good for the people ruining the games for those people, but I definitely think it has a place for the educational content space. I'm very curious to see the comments. did Unranked to Masters videos
Mm.
help you
And why?
climb, and why?
And how?
So these are some of my theories why they're great and why I like them. I don't make them. I'm not going to be doing them, but I think they have a place. Again, I think they have the useful. Number one, I'm very big on proving things to the League of Legends community because there's so many narratives and we're so much on the other side of people think that they're like the, Don B talking about cosmic variance and stuff like that.
That's really inherent. That's quite unique to Nathan's coaching style. I think that me and you don't do a lot of. I'm speaking for you there, but Nathan's strategy a lot of the time is proving things.
proving that their view of the game is incorrect or that this game's winnable, whatever it is. So the fact that people can clearly see, like a silver player can clearly see that a challenger player to an Unranked Masters is very, very easily able to win that game in silver, in gold, and just climb with insane win rates means it's showing people the possibility, right? So it's like a mindset shift. So that's number one. Number two.
Wait, can we tackle these one by one? Because I think like it would be like.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I want to debate these one by
Okay.
one. You want to go first? I've got someone to debate that.
Yeah, go.
Oi.
You go first.
I would just say like, I genuinely don't think people or struggle with that idea
Yeah, what does that prove?
that a challenger player could play in their games and win.
I think they do.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
You
I
think
really
that
think they
people
do.
think like, I mean, people are pretty crazy. Like, if someone says like, if Faker played this game, he'd lose.
Yes,
I
correct.
don't, no. I don't think they actually mean
They
that when they
do.
say that.
They
I
do.
do not. They say that.
Okay.
But they don't mean that.
Let's break this down, right? Maybe if they say it and they mean it, they don't mean it logically.
Yes.
If they were proven this by Faker then doing it, that would only prove it logically. It doesn't actually prove it in like the cosmic sense of like this game's unwinnable because of reasons, you know?
Exactly. It's not a logical take. Like,
Yeah.
again, where this coming from, what they're struggling with is, remember, it's their games, their experiences. If someone was in my game, in this very game, you know what I mean? It's not.
Isn't it also just completely again, we're going deep on this one point. Isn't it unreasonable to assume that?
Yeah.
Because what that actually says, it actually proves the fucking opposite.
Yeah.
Because what does it prove? It proves you need to be challenger to win this game. But the truth
Yeah.
is that a player with a relatively similar skill set as the players around them, just with a few tweaks here and there, can increase their win likelihood by a lot.
I see.
That's
So,
actually the
so I
bigger
think it
proof.
needs to go 0 to 100. So it's like, oh yeah. So they're basically saying that
Win the mic.
it's going to be impossible for me to ever climb out of silver and think because I need to instantly be
I need
like
to
a
be
challenger.
to
Yeah,
climb
that
out
gap
of
I
silver.
see.
That's what I worry
So
about.
I guess that's destructive, isn't it?
It can be.
I would
Yeah.
actually make the argument that the major benefit of this unranked to master thing is that it literally gives people fake confidence. It could be, you could have made a video, you could have made 100 different types of video. As long as it gives that person confidence entering their next game, it's going to make them, give them a bit more confidence to express themselves.
Yeah.
That's literally it, right? Because there's very kind of minimal, genuine information that you can take away from it, right? And rather than talking in circles, I do want to quickly show a clip here, right? Now, we're going to use a clip from Tim. He's a coach in the
Mysterias.
dojo. We're going to be throwing Tim under the bus here. And look, we're just using Tim because he's a part of our team.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude. He means well. He has amazing content. Check out his channel, Mysterias lol. But yeah, again, okay, so this is from one of his unranked to masters on Kassadin, okay? Now, people may say this is cherry picked, but I'm just going to use this as one of my biggest gripes with the whole content series. Basically, what we're going to see here, we're going to play it on the screen right now, is he's kind of heavy trading at level 6 with a TF. And he stands his ground and knows that he can continually fight this TF to the death. He knows his limits so well that if he can just close the gap, stay in range with this TF, that this TF's not going to be able to win this. And as a result, Tim, because he's got his blasting one, yippee, and he can kill this TF and boom. And now the whole lane is completely changed from this point. Now, from being a 0-0-0 Kassadin to now being a Kassadin that is snowballing, right?
Wow.
Now, you could argue, and Tim says, like, yeah, that's the power of blasting one Kassadin, right? Yeah, so there is a reference point there, right? So that could be as a huge positive. So, all right, I'm level 6, blasting one, now it's time to fight. But the giant but here is that that's not what's going to happen in their games. What's likely going to happen, right? Is
And
they're
this
going
is you talking about spots reviewing probably hundreds of Kassadin games. What would you see as a Kassadin player? And
Well,
tell
they're
us
not
what
going to
rank.
know that level. They're not going to have that sophisticated understanding of
What to
micro.
what rank?
We're using unranked to masters here, but let's just say the average gold player, right? They might understand that reference when they've traded aggressively at level 6. But they're not, what would likely happen is they might take the first trade here and then they might take this gold card, then run away because they're scared of dying gank or whatever. Or they might take this trade right now, play for the wave and then recall and they wouldn't know that they can R-flash. There could be 100 ways how this wouldn't play out the way it is, right? I don't want to get too caught up in the weeds, but it's more so you see this massive gap in execution difference where the streamer is playing at this much higher level than the rank, which yes, they are executing him on the reference points, but the execution difference is so significant that every single event now past this point in the game is that you're in Fairyland. We're not now playing a normal game of League of Legends.
This is what their game will look like.
This is what their games are going to look like, but these are not what your games are going to look like. So it's not realistic to say, it's like watching Max Verstappen go on a go-kart and say, look, all you got to do is, this is how you approach this corner. It doesn't flawlessly. I go in the go-kart, I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Do I break now? I can't get this. And he's already on the second one. He's doing the whole thing perfectly. I'm stuck on the first corner.
Isn't someone watching this now will realize, wow, Cassidy's really strong with blasting or Dark Seal. I can just one-shot a TF. That's like a learning, isn't it, already?
No, because it's not their truth, right? You only learn, in my opinion, from your truth, your experiences. If I watch this video, let's just be real for a second. Say I'm a Cassidy main, and I see this video and I see this reference point of get the blasting on level 6 and all in. Okay, I go into my game, I'm versing a different matchup with a completely different map state. I might have vision, I might not. I might even be behind an XP because I got shut down early game as a Cassidy into TF or whatever the matchup is. And maybe I get tethered on my R range. I miss one of my Rs, right? That could happen. That could easily happen. I just get tethered on one of my Rs. Or maybe I mistime my Q where I don't actually block any damage with my Q, or I miss my E. Or whatever.
So is your contention that this player would have been better off knowing nothing about that?
My contention is that this video, it's not that. Tying back to my initial point, it's unranked to masters. You could get across the exact same information with 3 dot points on a slideshow. You could get the same bit of information on Tim watching a game played in a challenger. It's the same. The reference points are the reference points. If that's all we're trying to get across here, if we're just trying to get across the basics of what the reference point are, why do we need a Smurf in 17 different ELO brackets to get across 6 points? I could literally put that video, I can make that video in 3 minutes. Here are the 5 Cassidy reference points. Get to level 6 and all in. Boom, this is what it might look like. Get to level 11, cool. Get to level 16, cool. Whatever the reference points are. And there is no smurfing involved.
Isn't that just a different, you're doing the exact same thing with just, it's a different format or a different platform? People love watching League of Legends, guys. People hate looking at slides.
No, but Nathan, this is where the medium is the message. The medium of the Unranked to Masters series defines the message. The message may have started, and the intention of Tim, in this case, might have been to get across Castan's reference points. But once you pass that through the medium of the Unranked to Masters video, what you get on the other side is just vomit. It takes a good intention and masks it with concepts like LP, smurfing, like Q, there's so many other variables.
So many danger.
One thing, by the way, my biggest gripe with the Unranked to Master series, and it's not actually the execution. It's something that Cupcake recently did a lecture where I spoke a lot about this in Botlane Academy. It's limits and the intimate knowledge of every champion in the game, which we take for granted.
Yeah, I was going to say every player.
What is him doing? I can't remember if he did it in this video, but he buffered the TF gold card with Cassidy and R, so dealt damage while taking damage, min-maxed his DPS perfectly. You see this in other Unranked series where people just know what every champion in the game does. We know it in our own games. We just know what every champ does. We know all the interactions. We know all the cooldowns intuitively. That you cannot teach that in a YouTube video, and that's why it's a bit a bit of misinformation, because it's just fight with Blasting Wand at level 6 Gaston. It's the word it's just does the heavy lifting, you know? It's well, no, not just. It's know your matchup, tether perfectly, buffer the gold
Make sure you have vision to do so.
Make sure you got vision, make sure you're leaning, make sure you've identified where the jungler is, make sure you know what items.
And it doesn't matter how good of an educational content creator or commentator you are, you can't say all that. It's impossible.
Yeah, so I guess what Curtis is saying, and what I kind of agree with, is you want to go in one of 2 directions, and ideally both. You want to provide the reference points, which we have in our guides, and then you also want to provide as many examples as you can for them to self-study. And look, we have matchup hot seats. You can watch examples of us playing a wide variety of different lane types. And then you also need to have coaching, and you need to have back and forth and reviews and ask questions and get more specific. But the Unranked to Master series kind of tries to do it all in a neat little package, and it kind of doesn't.
And this is where I think it's dangerous in this sense, because I think that someone watching this is going to, I mean, there could be a lot of disastrous outcomes. Number one would be like, well, I'm doing everything in this video and this is not how my games play out. So they could even start thinking that what they're just untalented. Their games are different. Their account is ruined. Whatever, XYZ reason. Well, I've just tried to do what this person's done and it's not working. How come he's doing it and I'm not? There is low lack, you know what I mean? There's a lack of actually, it's disingenuous to say this is kind of this is what it should look like. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what it's going to look like. This is not what the games are going to look like.
Yeah, isn't it also like the intention of the Unranked to Master videos is showing how to play Casterden in each elo? And then isn't it just like you just end up playing Casterden to the best of your ability in every game anyway? It's like, well, versus the bronze player, I'm going to fucking kill them. Versus the silver player, I'm going to fucking kill them.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what happened in like Tim in this
there is no
mid-game.
way to play Casterden in silver. It's just play Casterden well to the reference points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
no,
and Tim was doing in this game. In mid game, he was making all these sophisticated calls, and I'm like, this is just not gonna look like
This
anyone's
is a bronze
game.
game. What is that?
Whatever this is. I mean, it's just he's just kind of go through a bunch of games, right? So my point being is that, like, again, I don't think the intention is bad from the content creator, and I think there is some value there, but it's like, again, it's packaged up in a way that is so disingenuous and can cause more damage than it can help in a way.
You always got to look at the stats. People love this content. Creators make it because it gets lots of views. So the layman loves it.
Dopamine. I mean, I can use a very graphic example if you like. What's the most watched thing on the whole internet? I probably don't need to say it out loud.
Mr. Beast videos.
No, it's not Mr. Beast videos. But that's a close second. That's pornographic in nature as well.
I see. Interesting.
It's like, does Mr. Beast need to give away $500,000 for someone doing an obstacle course? Why don't we just watch it for the obstacle course? You know, isn't that
No, but it's the editing, right? Yeah, that's the dope because he's perfected the editing.
Okay, so this is where I want to zoom out a little. I mean, sorry, do you want to finish your points first? Sorry, like we just riffed on what the first point.
I think it's a great way. Like, let's say if you're Bronze Jimmy, because we got Timmy here, I've got Jimmy now.
Jimmy.
Bronze Jimmy, and you'll load up. Okay, you know, you go into a Cassidy and Unranked to Masters, and he's sitting there watching. I think he's going to learn a lot.
Like what?
Like what specifically do you think they're going to learn?
What would he learn? Just like, oh, interesting, I wouldn't fight this way. Or, oh, wow, you know, he's so aggressive in lane. And like, I'm sitting there and just, you know, maybe, you know, because this is like the moment he gets level 6 or, you know, like I'd imagine Tim would versus a melee matchup here and like probably win it or whatever, you know.
Right. So it's like breaking through beliefs in a way. You think it would streamline their ability to basically face challenges in a more effective way.
Yeah, and be like more critical of the game. Again, the whole proving thing of like, you know, it was like, wow, that's interesting. That's really, I wouldn't have done that. That's really, I definitely think that there's something, because at the end of the day, watching other people play the game, good players play the game, doesn't matter what ELO it is helpful. I think you can always, if you approach it with the right mindset. When I say helpful, Curtis, I say helpful from like a beginner perspective.
What if Jimmy watched a Challenger VOD? What if Jimmy watched Canyon playing like Trundle jungle? And then goes to play Trundle in his own game.
Yeah, Korean solo queue is a bit of a different beast. You would want...
No, it's... If you're watching Kirei play in Challenger in EU...
Okay, sorry, because of the language barrier. So they're not sitting there, like let's say an English person.
Yeah, let's do an English in EU playing top 10 Challenger... I mean, EU solo queue. Do you think...
Without commentating the educational from just playing the game?
Playing the game.
Yeah, for sure.
You think it's value?
Yes, I do think it's value.
Okay, interesting.
But it's like, you know, very surface level, Curtis. You know, like if you actually want to improve. Do you guys think you tell me there's no value, it even makes you worse?
Yeah, I think it can make you worse for sure. I think
I'm with Charles on this one.
I think if like, especially like the lower ranks you go, if a below gold player were to watch Kalist play laning phases and watch fights and stuff, yeah, you might be able to take a few more things, but it's impossible for someone in that elo range to like find the needle in the haystack of value. They're just going to end up eating hay.
I'm gonna go nuts for a second, okay?
Oh,
As in, like, this is where I might go. This is full conspiracy, not conspiracy theory, but I'm just gonna go off the wall a little bit, go a bit nuts here for a second, right? Let's really dissect. Okay, so my biggest gripe with this content, and again, this is not to highlight on 10, this is all this content creators who make this sort of content, is that it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's okay. What it's subliminally getting across to the league community is that you just have to watch more gameplay to get better at the game. And you don't need to watch more gameplay to get better at the game. You need to play
the game.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you're going to watch content, it needs to be hyper specific or give you actionable tips or ways to allow you to play the game more, to express yourself more effectively. If you look at it, this is why even, and again, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here, but I think the difference between our podcast, even my YouTube channel, it's content that's less about watching me play League of Legends and showing giving you tips and tools to allow you to be who you want to be on the Rift and express who you are on the Rift, whether it's tackling stage 4 problems, understanding how to develop your champion pool, or whatever the hell it is, dealing with stage 4 issues, whatever, right? Because I realized that is more effective than showing you how to play the game, because I just want you to fucking play the game.
Yeah.
Play the goddamn game. Play 35 games of Neferi and see what happens. And I think just what the icky feeling I get is that you're not going to get better watching Timmy play Kassadin, really. Not as if you spent that 20 minutes playing a game
with the
around,
knowledge, have watched the champion guide in the academy.
I would even
and
say
all that.
without the knowledge.
Oh wow!
I would even just say straight up playing a game of League of Legends will make you better.
Wow.
If you were to watch, okay, let's use if I were to watch 500 minutes of Kassadin gameplay on YouTube, and I would play 500 minutes.
Oh, for your
of
first 30
Kassadin,
games, 100%. Yes.
for the majority of
Yes,
people.
yes.
Like we're talking.
I thought you said it was useful for a beginner.
Yeah, it is useful for a beginner. The what?
The unranked to master.
Yeah, I think that's also useful for a beginner as well.
So you're thinking that's only a beginner.
but not as good as playing the game.
Oh.
But then that's.
But again,
that's
basically,
so
I'm
disingenuous.
saying, like, Curtis, there is a place for this unranked to master. You're sitting there, you're having your TV dinner, and let's just pop on Tim playing some Kassadin.
That's like the
you're gonna
worst way
learn
to
some
improve the
stuff.
game.
Is that really that bad?
I think it's a complete waste of time in that sense.
That's literally, you may as well watch
Slop.
the bows at that
You
point.
might as well just doom scroll TikTok. This is my point. I think
It's faux learning.
Yes.
That's actually, I think, what Curtis is
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
what
get
I'm trying to
across.
get
It's you convince yourself that you're learning. That's the problem. But it's actually you're watching something instead of learning.
of doing it. and how many times I've seen this, so many people come into the program, they say, I've done all this research, I've watched all these videos,
Yeah.
and I've put so much time, I feel like I should be so much better than my friends. All my friends do, they don't have any process, they don't watch any educational content, they just spam games,
Yeah.
and they're better than me.
Yeah.
And then they feel like shit because they've studied every resource, everything, and apart from play the goddamn game. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
not saying educational resources are bad, but it's like
You got to do both.
you got to
use
do a
both.
combination of both, but the ratio should be like
95 to 5.
yeah, and then the other part of your time should just be either getting coaching. If you genuinely want to improve, it's like very simple. It's play the game, get coaching, play the game, get coaching, and then watch like a few small, very punchy, like clean, clear videos. Like I just think that this is where like I think the entertainment and educational aspects of League of Legends have merged.
Yeah.
So you've got this like, you've got the whole like highlight clip, montage, or even back in the day with like, Civ HD kind of like meme content, right?
LeBlanc building 6 rowers.
Yeah, all that shit. Or like, full AD, LeBlanc running around the map, killing everyone in bot games, right? You got that sort of content. And it's slowly bleeding into the educational, because why? A lot of educational content creators need clicks and they want clicks. So they're pulling inspiration, and I don't think any fault of their own. They're trying to obviously get across good messages. But then it's like, I feel like there is an adverse effect to that where it's like, again, you're getting this. This is
I love there's something that's happened in the meta, by the way. I was like looking up before we went live, but like the titles of those videos used to be Unranked to Masters. You know what they are now? Educational Unranked to Masters. And you know what it is? The same fucking thing.
It's the same fucking video.
It's the same
Yeah.
video. I just love that being in the title now. It's quite interesting.
Well, that's why it's also very difficult for people to find high quality educational resources on YouTube, because every other video is how to play this champion, and it's just them playing a game of League of Legends with barely any advice.
Yeah, it's like an Elise guide, and it's just some bloke playing Elise.
Yeah,
I watched
Elite.
I was watching before an Elite 500 when he was doing an unranked thing, an educational thing, right? And even the comments were, this is so educational. He went through a lane phase with saying like 2 things, killed the Fiora twice, and the only thing he said is, this is why you take Airy, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was mind boggled. I'm like,
but that's what I'm saying. The viewers love it.
the viewers,
They
just
think
because
it's so
viewers love
educational.
it doesn't mean. And
Yeah.
that actually ties into my whole entire
What
point.
are you trying to say, Nathan? Are you saying that because they like it is good?
That's no,
Well, because they're
that's what he
saying
means. That's
no,
what he-
that's what I'm saying. No, but because I'm expecting the comments saying that they improved from unranked to masters.
And
I
That's what
I
I'm
love
saying.
Macca's.
And
It's one of
Nathan-
my favorite things to. I love
Nathan,
McDonald's.
this is our point as being trying to be pioneers of the industry is to lead by example and to be like, just because you can make a video, I can make this video and do unranked masters and smurf my way and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so fun. I learned so much. This is great. But in reality, does that actually translate to tangible results in changes in their gameplay? I would argue no. I would argue for the most part, that, like I said, my initial point, the biggest value is two things. Now they're more excited to play League of Legends, and they've got a lot of motivation and excitement, so they're ready to play high intensity League of Legends.
Yeah.
They might as well just watched an EDM set from Tomorrowland in 2021. You'll get the same result, or they just learn the reference points, which could be got across in 2 minutes.
And unfortunately, just to speak as I guess creators ourselves, this is why our YouTube channel is kind of like it's never going to be
Not mainstream.
the
It won't be
mainstream, like
Can't
fucking
be.
6-figure views, like popping the fuck off. Like some videos might, but we just cap because we're talking about like how to like Curtis is telling you also be vulnerable, where people in their videos saying fucking just hit your level 6 power spike and then nuclear bomb your lane opponent. Like it's just not gonna happen, you know,
No.
because as Nathan says, that's what the people want.
Yeah.
But we refuse to give you
We
what
do.
you want.
We refuse.
Apparently.
We do
We
refuse.
just did another video on narratives or some shit. We know you want the mid lane tier list, guys. We're not giving it to you. We refuse. I can see your top comment right now. It's every
It's like-
episode.
yeah.
Cole, can't wait for the next mid lane episode, the top lane episode.
No, the petition, the right. Just why is there no mid or top lane champion breakdown?
Yeah, because again, and Tim, again, no shade to anyone that does it. It's we have to make videos to get views, and obviously we don't support ourselves for this YouTube channel, so we're not on the same stress of other creators
Totally.
are for sure. So I do understand that, but it gets views. It gets views. Like doing the Unranked Master Series.
does.
Why do people do it? Because it gets views. That is not. They don't do it because it's the best way to teach a champion or it's the best way to make people better at the game. They do it because it gets views.
Yep. And
Fundamentally.
it might help them get into the it's like might
It
get
could
them-
be a gateway.
It could be a
Exactly right.
gateway.
Exactly
Exactly
right.
right. It's like the gateway drug to Tim's better quality videos
Yeah,
talking
Tim
about
makes,
other things.
Tim makes banger videos on
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly
other things,
right.
and Tim preaches a lot of good messaging. And yeah, I honestly, I think that speaking transparently, like just like more YouTube backend kind of thing, why are these unranked master videos good? Because they get people introduced to the idea of content, and then they might find better content. I think that's actually as a gateway.
It's a gateway.
it's
That's why I
probably-
think it's very surface level. It's good. It's
No,
TV dinner.
Don't take my contention is that these videos are only good as a
No,
gateway.
Nathan thinks Nathan's contention is that they're good for beginners.
Nathan's
They're good for
contention-
beginners. They're helpful.
Yeah, beginners having dinner. That's what
TV
Nathan wants.
dinners.
TV dinners.
TV dinner
TV
content.
dinner content.
Again, a term I coined, which you just stolen.
I
from-
did steal
stole
that.
it from me.
I'm coining that one now.
Yeah.
All right.
I
That
think
was
there
interesting.
was actually one more that I quickly wanted to talk about before we move on to the
I
school
took
post.
notes, and I don't have my notes, by the way. I wrote down some notes. I just don't not here. So, but fuck it. I don't know what they even said. Probably unintelligible.
All right, so this is a school post before the school post. I just thought it was an interesting little thing from Matt saying he played 3 games, 0 practice value. Just finished a 3-game block, and it honestly felt like a complete waste of time. I really don't care about LP or winning or losing. I just want each day to feel like an improvement on the last. I play volley bear jungle. So for me, that means identifying viable ganks, practicing execution, identifying the main threats on the enemy team, and then planning team fights around those threats. For context, it's still early days for my solo queue career, so my expectations for myself are non-existent. I just want a bit better. So basically, he played he had these really tough games. One of them was like a Yumi top 5-level disadvantage, yada, yada, yada. And he says, look, that was my entire block. I did my warm-up. I was focused. I was ready to go. And instead, I get 3 games where I barely get to play the game in a meaningful way. Now, I know in the long run, this evens out, and I know I'll benefit from players like this over time, but it doesn't change how demoralizing this feels to lose a full day of practice to games where you don't really do anything. You can't do anything. And then the last thing is, how do you guys deal with days like this where it just feels like you got 0 value from your games?
People overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate.
Wrong way around. Wrong way around. Mission failed.
People overestimate what they can do in 5 years and underestimate what they can do in 1 year. Is that not the quote?
I don't know, mate.
I don't even know.
Lost.
Anyways, one day is nothing.
what is
Yeah.
Like, so, but in the moment, it's a big deal. So, like, whenever I've been climbing to my solo queue grind, I've had to really adopt this mindset. And you will even think back to yourself, can you really remember the feel, or do you feel that grudge of this 3 block? Even this 3 block now, you know, this is probably going to be a week or whatever since this post. Will you even remember this day?
No.
No, especially in solo queue. Like, it's the, you know how our saying, our quote is that every game is the most important but least important.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you know how we did that fascinating episode we did, but we broke down how many games people actually play.
Yeah.
And, you know,
was shocking.
It's shocking. People
Shocking
play
results.
0.5 games a day, like just in terms of entire year, because no one sticks to it for long enough.
Yeah.
That's my quote, right? The underestimating how much they can do in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day. It's
Banger,
like
banger
one day of a month. Like, it's so fleeting, and that's part of the league journey, and it's actually not that big of a deal.
Yep.
I've had so many painful days where it was just a complete write-off. I didn't really learn much.
Yeah.
I ruined games, but that's part of the experience. And you can't. If you emotionally put yourself too much into those days, that's when you'll spiral and start tilting, and then it will affect you. So you just have to view each day as like, yeah, it is what it is.
It mirrors life as well. I mean, how many days have we just pissed out at the office? Just like, oh my God, what did we do today? We got absolutely nothing done.
But overall, the grand scheme, we're progressing insanely
yeah, and you look at the
fast.
week or the month,
But you
you're
feel
like, holy
so
moly.
bad in a day.
Yeah, sometimes days like, I can't remember, this is another quote to combat your shit quote, an equally shit quote potentially. Just try and have a good bad day. Like
Cool.
you can't control the amount of bad days you have.
Wait, give me my laptop.
No,
back.
I'm trying to look up the
I
quote.
need my laptop.
Hold on, just let me look up the quote.
So like, yeah, you can't really, everyone's going to have bad days, but you can control how good or bad your bad day
Have a
is.
good bad
So have a
day.
good bad day.
Okay, here we go. It's from actually Bill Gates, or it's distributed from Bill Gates. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So I was sort
I
of
don't
right.
believe he did that quote.
Yeah,
He
it
paid
says.
someone off.
Yep,
All right.
agreed.
Yeah, great quote. Very relevant. I just want to quickly.
Curtis stole back the laptop.
So what's the league version of that? Most people overestimate what they can do in a block and underestimate what they can do in a season.
Or just, I mean, yeah, season, but I think we start with a month.
Yeah.
A month.
A month is
You can
probably-
make insane in
progress.
4 to 6 weeks. You can make insane progress as a League of Legends
Sounds like
player.
a gym ad. Like,
And I was literally just going to use the gym analogy as
yeah.
well. In 4 to 6 weeks of going to the gym consistently, you can make insanity results. Especially, I remember beginning my gym journey, the noob games. Noob games are, let's noob gains, noob tube, noob gains in League of Legends, guys. Just lock in for 4 to 6 weeks, 3 block process reviewing, join the goddamn WTL
This is
Academy.
mental.
And this is you're going to get insane results.
get
cue.
shredded. Get shredded. 4 to 6 weeks.
Get a six pack in 4 weeks.
6 week booty
I
blast.
what I wanted to quickly say though was, these just niche like I just get off the PC. You know, when they happen, like literally step
Get off
away
the
from the
PC.
PC,
Oh yeah.
turn it off, and then don't dwell, don't everything. Don't try to like rationalize your experience. Like, don't try to feel like you need to get some revolutionary
That's what
learning
they do, yeah.
from that block.
They need some comfort. They need someone to like sit
Just
there
move
and
on.
coddle them, saying it's okay. You
Yeah.
know,
and like just laugh at it. Like I said, like the key to moving on is not dwelling on the little and then the little act of getting off the PC, laughing at the ridiculous of the situation, and letting yourself know it's just a bunch of noise is the key.
Nathan's unleashed this episode.
And the power of the reset day. Resetting the day is awesome.
Oh yeah, fresh start.
A fresh start.
Fresh start.
You love starting. You love fresh starts. Nathan.
I vividly remember having like 0-3 block day,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, like doing those things. I laughed it off. I don't really think.
Yeah.
And then the next day, and then it's just like a 3-0 block, and then it's like I'm
Clean.
back. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I'm just popping
Yeah,
off.
one
I'm
thing
playing out of my mind.
One thing I love to say in Botland Academy when people are struggling with this like 0-3 block or on a losing streak is just like, understand that these are the moments where the average League of Legends player will give up. And all you have to do is not give up, and eventually it will end. It will. Trust me, you
It
cannot
always
lose forever.
ends, yeah.
You cannot lose forever.
Or you can just think that losers queue exists. That's
or you
another
can
option.
losers queue
as well.
exists. Exactly right.
All right, so we're going to move on to the actual school post of the week, and this one was from.
You jimmied another school.
I jimmied
post.
it.
Yeah,
I
we've got a
jimmied it.
double whammy.
I
Fucking
jimmied
hell.
it. This one's from Avi. Criticize your mistakes, not yourself. Right, so it's a bit of a good positive message. I'm going to summarize here. So the language we use to describe our experiences shape the way we think about ourselves and the world. Drawing a distinction between ourselves and our mistakes can be the difference between keeping cool and getting tilted. between maintaining consistency and burning out. Think about language such as I entered that gank versus I miscalculated my damage, or I'm such a bronze player versus I just missed that opportunity. I missed this opportunity, or I'm so shit versus I'm still learning. I like to call this kind of language stuck language because that is often what happens when we criticize ourselves directly. We get stuck. Yeah, and that's kind of the premise here. Like, I'll just summarize it. And I used to fall to this massively, right? I'm such a piece of shit for doing this. You know, and it kind of went down a very nasty rabbit hole where I had a very fixed mindset. And I think it's a great reminder for people to get out of that kind of identity level language to behavior, right? Your gank, you're not just shit at ganking. It's like, okay, maybe you're not so good at panning your camera and being aware of the wave state. Yeah. One's actionable, one's not.
Because your identity is stuck with you. You can't change that, but behaviors you can change. So let's just figure out the decisions. Let's get into the details. Let's change the decisions. People love to, that's where people throw out the words, I mean, I guess, Curtis, it's a bit of a contradiction. You use that terminology a lot with the saying just, I'm shit.
You said it this episode.
Yeah, but I don't mean it in, I mean, let's clarify that. Yeah. Because I think that's an interesting little segue there, right? Like, why is it then some people can be critical and say, I just played shit this game? Some people will dwell on that. I think it depends on what you're going to do after that. If I just say I'm shit and then that's that with no behavior change, or if I don't think critically about what I specifically did shit, then obviously I'm going to be all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But when I say I'm shit, it's like, well, that's just I'm just blurting that out. But in what's really happening is I'm like, okay, I know exactly what happened in that game. I did this specific thing, and I know why I did that specific thing, and I know exactly if I was in this game again, what I would do next time.
You knew the behavior change.
I just think it's as simple as like different people need to hear different things.
That as well.
If your ego's through the roof, you might need to just hear, I'm shit. And if you're struggling to understand why you're losing, you need to get more specific.
Yep.
Some people need to be brought back down to earth, and some harsh language is actually pretty good at getting people down to earth. It's pretty useful.
That's what I mentioned it the other week.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, he loves
vulgar language.
It gets out people out of their pattern, wakes them up.
Yeah, it wakes people up. Yeah. Sometimes people need to hear that, that like, because if they've been all sunshine and rainbows, no one's told them what they need to hear. And then someone comes in and just says, you're a fucking idiot. Then it's like, whoa, it's like their system has now gone in overdrive and now they're listening and they're engaged.
I did Whiplash a little bit, the movie. Like Stroll Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where things can get toxic, right, at some stage. So there's a balance.
Maybe.
And like you said, it's
Nathan loves that movie.
I love J.K. Simmons. There's actually a trailer that came out for another movie today. I got to show you guys the trailer for it.
Oh, you're not going to say what it is?
No. I actually can't remember. It's like another World War II film.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry. It's all right. Don't worry.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not going to make this a film podcast.
Yeah. I'd love to do a film. I'm telling Curtis off camera, like, eventually this will become a film podcast.
And that's when it's the end.
Yeah.
Game over.
The beginning of the end.
All right, so Nathan, we're going to go to your favorite segment.
Mailbag time. Away we go. Nathan's mailbag. Jingle song. All righty then. Our first question here comes from Philip. The title of this email is Reverse Stage 4 Issues. We've got a reverse Uno card.
Yeah.
Reverse
What does
Uno
that
card.
mean?
It's like,
That's a good title.
Stage 4 Issues, Reverse card.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a great title.
Hello, BBC crew. My name is Philip, and I'm a high Emerald player from Europe. I've recently come to realize how much my overall well-being affects my intensity in game. After a few years of listening to your podcast, it seems obvious that having a bad day IRL drastically affects my performance. But I would like to point out how having an above average mindset overall improves performance significantly. I've had a few days when I felt really good about the game and had a craving for my 3-block for the whole day. This short period of time allowed me to climb from Emerald 4, probably when I was close to rock bottom, to 2 games away from Diamond. Unfortunately, through experiencing the end of this honeymoon phase and having negative LP gains, my intensity and performance has decreased dramatically. Do you have any experience as to how to maintain focus, motivation, and consistency in moments of weakness and slight burnout? What makes one want to play the game more than usual? Keep up the good work.
I love it whenever we get a question, and unfortunately, when you peel back enough layers, the bloke writing in the message is just plateaued and he's just trying to tell a narrative.
Yeah.
It's like, I was feeling so good about my games, and I climbed from Emerald 4 to Emerald 1, but then I started getting negative LP gains and I started losing. And how do I get that passion back? It's like, well, you probably just plateaued, and now you need to knuckle down, improve at the game, and then you'll climb more.
Yeah.
Climbing is not linear. It's very normal to go up and then stop and then stop and then stop and then up again. That's what happens.
I want to, like, let's just, we've noted that. Let's just put that in that bucket. But I do want to talk about this topic of like intensity, but also when you're feeling like you really want to play League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like I do think that is something that is really underrated. Like this whole idea of like, okay, I just don't feel like playing League. I feel really bored.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's a sign that like maybe the way you're going about your journey, you're playing too many blocks, you're reviewing too much, you're burnt out with your champion. I do think there is an element of like self-awareness that will really help you in your journey where you can course correct based off what you need to do to kind of reignite that flame to kind of play with intensity, right? Like there's nothing worse than loading on, feeling like you're clocking onto another job. I'm playing another 3-block of Victor. I want to shoot my brains out. You're never going to perform. You know what I mean? In that environment. So I do think there's an element of that that a lot of people are just not aware of, and they get into a rut. What do you guys think about that?
I was just happy listening to you give your opinion there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I just agree.
Yeah, that was it. All right.
Yeah, I just kind of agree.
There was something else that I was going to mention here. It also kind of reminds me of what we were mentioning earlier on in the episode with the whole narratives. Like people can create, they will go to the ends of the earth to create some and it's so logical.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. And if you're not careful when you're reading these emails, you can sometimes find
You can get
yourself
tricked.
agreeing with
Like
it.
Nathan, you get tricked as per usual.
Oh yeah, I get tricked all the time.
Yeah. And I find it funny how the story is always told after the fact, not during. So you have to wait for the events to transpire, and then you can go and write your tall tale about what happened. This happened because, and you've got the framing of like the beginning, the middle, and the end. But if this person started writing the story as he was living through it, it would be way more accurate.
So what would that look like for here? It's like, okay, I'm climbing here really fast. Like I'm feeling good, I'm feeling amazing. This game here, I think I got a little bit lucky. Everything sort of clicked. It was an easy game for my champion thing. But instead it's like, okay, I'm going to ignore that because people are so good at
Dear Diary, I got double LP today. My top laner went 5-0 and I just got a free win off roll. It's like,
and then you can go back to the diary and it actually makes sense. But instead you come up, you don't write anything, you don't document anything, you don't take it into account. And then you have this email.
You know, what's really interesting as well is that moments where you're feeling really, let's say, good about the game perfectly coincide with winning, right?
Yes, correct.
You very rarely get an email that says, I've been losing a lot of my games, but I've been feeling like I've been having a lot of fun and I feel like I'm really motivated. And the reason why is because, again, typically I think when people lose a lot, because people's natural response is, I lose, that's bad, and that's a negative experience. Rather than thinking about the learning, they kind of go hand in hand. You're going to be more motivated to play when you're winning, and you're going to feel on top of the world, and then you're going to feel like shit when you're losing, and that's going to demotivate you. And so you kind of got these two things, like it's like your level of play and your motivation levels and your fun are kind of in sync. You know what I mean?
League of Legends is a momentum-based game.
Yes.
And also, I remember one of the episodes where Nathan started talking about Justin Bieber's talent manager. Do you remember that? A classic.
Scooter Braun.
He said something like, if you believe the comments when you're doing well, you have to also believe when you're doing poorly. Same with this. If you're elated when you're climbing, you're going to be deflated more when you go down. Thank you for Scooter Braun.
Thanks, Scoot.
I love that came out of Nathan's mouth just inadvertently, like a demon just came out of his mouth.
It's pop to him.
No, that's actually one of the best pieces of advice for League, though, by the way. If you start getting up on your high hill because you won a few games, it's going to come crumbling down. You're building a mountain built out of sand really, really quickly. You're going to come crashing down.
And you know how you said that people will never say, they never write in saying everything's going great and I'm losing. No, but we do have some of the people that have gotten insane
in
results
the academy
have said that, because that's the whole disconnecting from LP and wins and losses. They'll lose him, but they feel like they'll learn in and stuff like that. Those players are the ones that get insane
exactly
results.
right. If I had to say everyone in the academy was like a horse that I had to bet on to see who was going to kill the most amount of LP in the shortest amount of time. The key indicator that I would look for would be, does someone say something positive about their journey when they're losing games? That would be the number one indicator. Like, for example, one guy in the MLA today said, I played this really hard 3-block. I lost these 2 games, but I really made them sweat for LP, and I was able to do these things for my learning objectives. I feel great about this block.
You're putting $1,000
I'm
on it.
all in.
That's
fucking all in.
far lap.
That guy is far up. He's going to win everything, and I'm going to be rich. That's what you're looking for. So you struck gold.
Is Farlap an Australian reference, or is it even
What's
more?
the no?
is
There's
it-
the big. What's the big dog horse? The one that won everything. It wasn't Farlap. That was the old one. There was a newer one, like something like Diamond or something. All right, why are you doing that?
Oh, we're gonna be silent while he googles
Yeah,
for a
just-
second. That's great. It's an audio
The
based
most
experience.
successful racehorse history by win record is the Hungarian mare Kins,
That's not what I had in mind.
who was undefeated in 54 starts.
You're probably thinking about the Melbourne Cup again.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, like
no,
this
no.
is- yeah, and then Farlap is there. Farlap,
There you go.
famed for a 37 win streak.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay. You win, Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
job.
tack nuke in a bit. For
There's
Farlap.
another one called Secretariat. Secretariat.
Alright, Nathan, let's just move
Secretariat.
on.
That's the horse from BoJack Horseman.
Ah,
He was going to cast himself as Secretariat in the
Ah,
movie. Have you
is
seen
that-
BoJack Horseman?
that's a cartoon, right?
fictional, yes.
Yeah. Bojack,
Not real.
the horse.
BoJack Horseman is the
I
horse
see.
character.
I see.
who
Someone
is-
should
he-
name this Smurf account Scoot. What's his name?
Scooter Braun.
Scooter
I
Braun.
don't even know if
That'd be
it's
a
Braun,
great.
it's
That's
Braun.
a great name.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's
It
a
is
really
good,
good
yeah.
name.
Strong name.
It is a strong
Strong
name.
name.
It's a really strong name.
Name's Scooter Braun.
All right, moving on here. And next question here, title is called A Successful Season Has Become Painful.
Sorry. Fuck.
This is from Simpa. Coach Curtism. Charlie and Nathan Mott.
Coach Curtism.
You literally say Coach Curtism. Hello, BBC. I've been a listener.
Not a strong name.
Not a strong
Not a
name.
strong name.
Hello, BBC. I've been a listener of the podcast since September 2023. I've been playing solo queue since, and through your process, I've improved my life drastically. That being said, things have been very rough lately. I'm an Udia OTP with 200 games this season as Udia. I started playing Udia using the Jungle Academy guide. As an Udia player, I had a 50% win rate, climbing all the way to Diamond 2, currently sitting at Diamond 4. Started around Emerald 3 this season. I am aware of the LP curve range, and I have been sure to check out my games to make sure I'm just not getting unlucky. Even so, I'm sure that my level of play has dropped dramatically. It feels like I'm trapped in a cycle. I play badly, feel bad, and then I try to correct my errors in the next game, only to make them again. How many times can I throw a game level 4 on a champion I'm supposed to be knowledgeable at? It feels like a cycle, and now I'm questioning if I should continue with my champion. I can play other champs like Viego, Lee Sin, and I really would like to play those champs, but I feel like I over-index into Udia. I plan to champ cycle and play Udia less, especially into range comps. Has anyone in your programs experienced a similar mental block on their OTP? Is it just an Udia problem? Can you maybe give me insight on why he can feel so hard?
Yeah. I mean, I'll leave you up to talk about the actual Udir stuff, but definitely people on OTP's waiver for sure. That's why OTPing is not for everyone, and you should really think twice whether you actually want to be an OTP. Sounds like this is a pretty crucial part in your journey where it's like you're reaching that 200 game mark. You might have even played Udir in seasons prior. You have to now decide, am I going to be the Udir guy? And am I going to get through this tough patch, get maybe more creative, learn how to play Udir into range comps? Maybe you can fix up your build and your items and your approach against those comps and develop more strategies. That's what OTPs have to do. They have to get much more creative about how they approach
Especially
different
when you start
drafts.
getting to Diamond and stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't just like button mash Udir the same way in every comp and hope for success.
I mean, there's very not many Diamond one tricks in the League of Legends ecosystem. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
With Udi, you mean?
Yeah, it's like Airbo or Aribo or something like
Yeah,
that.
and Aribo goes multiple builds.
Yeah.
Malice did pretty high on Udir as well. But yeah, I just think you need to ask yourself, do you want to be an OTP? And don't feel like you should be. Like there's misinformation around there around like, just play one champ, man. It's the best way to climb. It's just not for everyone. You're going to have, most people aren't OTPs. Like 99.9% of people aren't OTPs, right? So if you're feeling the urge to expand your pool and cycle, I would say just do it.
Yeah, that's my gut.
And probably just take a vacation from Udir entirely while you do that, I would say.
And you might come back to Udia, but I think temporarily, at minimum, doing a bit of a champion cycle, playing the Lee Sin or Viego, whatever it is you want to play, just giving you a different perspective. And just get out, it sounds like you're in a rut, mate. You're in a rut.
Yep.
You know, whenever you start feeling like you're in a rut, you have two choices. Like you said before, you can just keep pushing on through and just dial in, really focus on the reviews, get into the details, which is hard. Not many people can actually do that, or just completely put it to the side, move on, come back to it later. So I think that's the easier option.
So you're an 80 carry person, Charles. You are a mid lane person, Curtis. Talking about Udia specifically, where people do get stuck with Udia, and Udia fits into this archetype, and I wonder if you guys have champions that you struggle into this. This goes back to the classic Nathan on electric fence, brick wall.
The brick wall.
Udyr is not a champion. You can like be proactive unless there's certain specific areas of the game you can when maybe you're strong enemy jungle, you can just run in and just take their camps and run away. But you can't like get a team fight started. You can't like you're more of like a not lose champion. You're more of like a defense champion, an objective control champion. I'm speaking specifically for AP Udyr. AD Udyr can be more of an assassin and play more so side or whatever. The AP Udyr is more so controlling areas of the map, bleeding the enemy team out, getting mid priority, playing really slow, boring League of Legends. And people can get really stuck with that. You need to sort of go to the next level of like game knowledge and win condition assessment and stuff like that. Do you guys experience champions where people block around this rank with certain champions that it's more of a loser's game type champion?
Not really, because there's the laning phase, right? You can always just get like
Insanely
develop a
fair.
lead in the lane.
I think it's literally for jungle and top laners, right?
Well, I think that
Just tanks.
the way you describe Udyr, correct me if I'm wrong, is I always hear you saying you need to find situations where you're not chasing them, you're making them run into you.
Correct.
That's pretty much the case for the whole AD carry roster, right?
Yeah. Same for mid lane mages.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Like
Victor.
Kai'Sa can dive in some comps.
Yeah, I
some
guess you can't
don't.
really get things going, right? As an
No,
A carry, yeah.
Not really, no. You just got to play fights
But
well.
it's a little bit different though for the jungle because you have two people now. It's like the AD carry needs something to get going and you need to get started. Like ideally you're the AD carry with like a Vi or a Java or whatever it is. So it's much more easier to execute those games. But the Udyr is like, I'm the Udyr and then I've also got my AD carry who wants to do the same thing.
Well, this is the thing, right? So fundamentally, there's the thing about champ design, right? Champions like Udyr are typically better into low range champions that need to come into you, right? So we're talking other low range champions, or maybe even assassins or things like that, right?
Yeah, assassins and like melee champs is Udyr,
right.
AP Udyr is
And
good
that's the
against.
same if I'm playing a mage, right? It's better when people are coming into me or an AD carry. Like I would prefer lower range champs that are coming into me rather than like a Xerath that's poking me or a Vel'Koz or whatever. A lot of AD carries typically do struggle into champions like that, right?
Yep.
And so what you've got then, it's like, okay, if I am in a scenario where I'm versing a comp that doesn't want to come into me, well, then I need to get sometimes often creative, right? I might need to find ways to generate tempo to kind of control zones and make them come into me. I might need to create man advantages. I might need to
Look for more flanks, come from
look
multiple
more
angles.
flanks, use
and
fog
fights.
and come from weird angles.
Yeah.
I might need to trade off neutral objectives, make split map plays. You have to you understand what the limitations of your kit are, and then you need to like find ways to play away from that.
Yep.
Right. And that's you said, that's like game knowledge in a way. Like you need to start thinking more
Game knowledge,
cerebrally
yeah.
about the game. And I think that takes a certain attitude. Again, it ties into that attitude. I'm faced with a challenge that I don't necessarily know the answer right now. Theme of the episode, it seems like. Okay, well, I need to now try my best to try something that, like you said, if what I'm doing is not working, why don't I try
Do the
something
opposite.
different?
Yeah.
All right, I keep
Try the opposite. That reminds me of George Costanza. What's that?
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
remember
the
that
opposite,
episode?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is it? What's the quote? Fuck, I'll.
No, he
screw
says
it.
like he's like, I'm gonna do everything that is opposite to my intuition.
Yeah.
Like every decision is the opposite of what I would do.
Yeah.
And the story of that, this is Seinfeld for
Yeah.
because a lot of young people who listen to this, they won't know, is that he makes the worst decision possible
Yeah.
every single time. So he thought, and that's his intuition. So
Yeah.
he said he would do the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's
And, like, everything pans out well.
If everything I do is wrong, then the opposite of everything I do must be right.
And he
So
got like
it's-
he got like the dream job. He got like a dream job day one or something. It was so funny.
very funny.
Yeah, but no, that there's some element of truth to that though in League. Like, just try something different and like, oh, okay. Well, usually here, this is a coin flip fight. I would usually say yes to this and flip this dragon. You know what? I'm just gonna say no and just go top and see what I
Push
can
some
do.
waves on me.
Like,
yeah.
what happens and
Yeah.
how does the game pan out, right? And like, that's the sort of thing that you got to try and fuck around with, really. And just like, again, like, I don't know if he's still in the Jungle Academy, but that's where you need to bring those tricky pods
Coaching, yeah.
to coaching and get an expert, right? Get a high level coach to look at it and they will be able to tell you exactly how to win that game.
Correct.
That's you're at the rank where coaching is so
Super.
important.
Emerald Diamond. Yeah.
Really, really, really important.
Moving on here. Next one comes from James. The title of this email is Mailbag Submission.
I love a creative title.
So it's from Spopovich. Hey guys,
Do I need
this
to
one's
edit out the name?
Nah, it's fine. This one's more of a very long spiel rather than a question, but I really wanted to show you guys my appreciation by sharing my stories. This is a success story. We love sharing some success stories on the podcast. So, you know, our viewers and listeners can relate or get some inspiration. I've been playing League
More
for...
proof. Sorry, just
more proof. I love proof. I've been playing League for around 14 years before we even had the O servers. This is a fellow Oceanian. I was in year 8 when I started, and now I'm in my late 20s. I've always been a gamer with a competitive mindset and always naturally gravitated to anything that had a ranked ladder, Counter-Strike, Apex Legends, League, the list goes on.
Seems like me. Sounds like the same age. We started playing basically the same age.
I
He's
think
from
so,
Australia.
something.
He came from Counter-Strike background.
Yeah, about 14 years as well.
Me right in.
12, yeah.
What was is that season 2?
That's, season 2,
Yeah, so I was season 2, yeah.
Wow.
Throughout all these years, I've sunken the most hours into League, and of all the games I play, I have been the shittiest at League by far. The only goal I've ever had gaming related and was insanely desperate for was to hit Diamond in League, and I've absolutely struggled for the longest time with how insanely slow, progression. Silver for many years, then Gold, then Plat, then Emerald. I've gone through every typical stage you can think of as a player, from blaming everyone else around me to then blaming myself to the point of extreme tilt, affecting my personal life, and then finally discovering the Midlane Academy through Shock's YouTube channel. So join a WTL Academy. I started off with Curtis's YouTube videos, and everything he spoke about completely resonated with me as a player and person who has invested a long time into the game. Since early last year, I've religiously absorbed your content, from signing up to the Midlane Academy to listening to the Broken by Concept podcast and to receiving coaching from educational content creators in the Midlane Academy. By doing so and strictly applying a strict 3-block method, plus reflection on my relationship with the game whenever I faced adversity, I managed to peak my highest at Emerald 275 LP last season, just barely short of my goal of Diamond. This season, I've hit Diamond relatively easily, and at first I was insanely conflicted due to the inflation of the rank ladder. But after some deliberation, I decided to embrace my new rank and realize I couldn't give a fuck because I've grown into a completely different player compared to what I was a year ago. And I'm confident that I'll only continue to get better now that I'm in a healthy place with the game, all thanks to you guys and the Midlane Academy coaches. I have to say, every single thing you guys address is on the mark when it comes to mental states, niche decision-making, issues in the games, and thought processes that the average League player goes through. Thank you so much for helping me achieve my long-aspiring goal of hitting Diamond. I'm no longer part of the Midlane Academy due to my schedule not allowing me to attend coachings, but I'll continue to play and improve, absorb your content, and support the podcast. I wish you guys the best, and shout out to Shock, the Oriana GOAT.
Love it. Awesome, man. And, it does. I love his attitude. Is like, I'm going to give myself a pat in the back. I've done the work. I've gotten a result.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes taking a step back and trying to recognize how far you've come is very valuable, because if you're constantly in that hypercritical state, it can beat you down. So amazing stuff, dude. You should be really proud of yourself, and it's only up from here.
And, we talk about people giving up so easily. He probably had so many opportunities to give up. I mean, looking at this OBGG, I love it. Silver 3, silver.
Wow.
Like, go silver, gold, silver, bronze, gold, plat, plat, emerald. He played every season.
Wow.
And he was trying so hard, to improve and stuff. And this is what I love, these journeys in League. This is, showing getting over adversity, mental blocks. These are the players where I think sometimes they've gotten more out of League than like a
Yes.
challenger
I agree.
player or a high-low player. Because they again got through adversity. This guy wasn't naturally talented at games or whatever. He had to face his demons, I guess you could say. This is what League's beauty about. I love this.
Rock bottom.
Yes, we love hitting rock bottom.
Good work.
Nathan rock
Here's
bottom
to
up.
14 more years on the rift.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Another 14 years. Imagine saying I played the game for 30 years.
I'll play the game for 30 years.
Can you believe that?
It's pretty crazy.
Good occur. 14 years is still a very long time, isn't it?
It's a long
What
time.
else have you
We're
done
in
for 14
season
years?
16, right?
Are we?
Yeah.
I don't
season
actually
16.
know.
Yeah, we're in season 16.
2026.
So
yeah.
we played for 15 years.
Well, yeah, season 1 would be 15 years, yeah.
Yeah.
15 years. Half our life.
Yeah,
That's half our
correct.
life.
Correct. 30 years old.
Yeah, I've been playing League longer than I've been with my partner. It's interesting.
Wow.
League of Legends is a great game. That's why I started this episode saying it's a great day for the
Let's
rest.
think about that for a second. We've played League for more. I mean, it's more than half your life for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah.
just more than half your life. It's half our life for us. That's insane.
I don't really know anything else.
And then you have to think about the hours in game, and then it gets bonkers as well. We've probably been in game for more time than doing a lot of other things.
Yeah. Than anything else ever.
Probably anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably anything else.
Except for sleeping.
Maybe
Sleeping.
school, right? Surely school we've done. Oh,
Well,
no.
I personally didn't.
That means that Charles didn't attend much school to play some video games.
Might have been in game.
Yeah.
Doubling up, double dipping in game and in school. Don't do that.
All right. So there you go. Good work, guys.
Stay in school.
Stay
Stay in school.
Don't do
3
drugs.
Process. Unranked to master. Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. A lot of themes.
Scooter
there.
Braun.
Shout out Scoot. That's it.
And
What a mental episode.
yeah, we'll see you guys on our next episode.